air. We've got a few more minutes before it's in Wilburton. Please take your move to your shelter. Most interior room, more walls between you and outside, act as layers of protection. And then on top of that, a helmet, blanket, pillow, something like that will protect you. If you're watching us right now on a live stream, you're getting a 50-second delay. So just assume what we're saying has been said about a minute ago. That is one thing to consider as you're watching us here as well. By the way, we do have a few other storms that are gaining intensity west of Tulsa. Severe storm in western Osage County lifting northward. Strong storms in Cleveland and far northwestern Creek County. Not an immediate threat for a tornado or even severe weather with these cells near Hominy and Cleveland. But we're going to keep a close eye on that. We're still in a primed environment area wide with the tornado watch in effect area-wide until 7 p.m., but we're likely going to see an extension of this with continued significant threats across the area. Yeah, and they have actually extended this watch, so we do know the threat will carry on at least through mid-evening. James is keeping a close eye on these multiple areas of circulations. 2 confirmed tornadoes at this time. James, will pitch it back to you.
Yeah, as we look right now into Tulsa again, quiet with all of the action still to the southwest or to the southeast of Tulsa. Tornado down right now in far western parts of Sequoyah County. We'll stay with this until it makes it all the way to Sallisaw. We are on a couple of cable systems in western Sequoyah County too, including Sallisaw as well. We go to correlation coefficient, and again, we've got that dropout that's moved right over the community of Gore. And we're looking right in here, Highway 164, just to the east side of the Arkansas River and east of the turnpike. Let's zoom all the way in here, and you can see here's Gore, Nottage Town, back along 64 toward Vian, eventually toward Dwight Mission Road and Sallisaw. Velocity continues with that strong circulation in the Gore area. We go to correlation coefficient, and that is what our dropout was, located northeast of Gore, and so we're going to watch that too. So that was again a quick spin up tornado that formed right over the Arkansas River, it looked like, and that get a little better view of that debris still shot up into the air by this tornado just to the northeast of Grove. Let's do a track on it. Now, Mike did this just a couple of minutes ago, but from that debris where the tornado is right now, we'll take this about as far as I can get just for more town names here: Marble City, Flute Springs, Bunch, Greasy, Lyons. At the current track, this is going to go just north of the community of Vian and just north of Sallisaw, but we do have confirmation with that debris lofted up into the radar signal right here. So this is just east of Highway 100 in extreme western parts of Sequoyah County, north of Highway 64. We can give you the all clear from Highway 64 and I-40 south, but the circulation is here. Let me show you. I'll put an icon here right where we've got that circulation happening. We'll go back to correlation coefficient. Looks like I've lost the signal looking at it from the Tulsa radar. We'll jump back over to Fort Smith. There's still a little bit of a shadow that we've got some debris being lofted up into the radar signal right here. Again, we'll go back. We do have new data that's just in. I don't see as clear of a signal here, but once it's produced one tornado, odds are that it can quickly spin up another one. That gives us an idea that we've got the structure necessary to do that. Now, we've got an ongoing tornado in Latimer County too. Let's zoom into this because this has been a dangerous storm and likely a strong to violent tornado given by how high this thing has lofted debris. You see these bright reds and bright greens just to the southwest of Wilburton. We'll go over to correlation coefficient. We still have some debris being lofted up into the radar signal right now. Pretty confident we still have a tornado down with it moving toward Wilburton. If you are in Wilburton, you have got to get to shelter. Make a split-second decision now. Get to the lowest level, center part, smallest room of your home. You've got to haul it. If you're in a mobile home, get to a sturdy shelter, sturdy building of some kind, because we likely have an ongoing tornado still just to the southwest of Wilburton now and moving into town right now. So lowest level, center part, smallest room of your home. Get there now. It is 6:34 and 25 seconds, and this tornado is moving into Wilburton. Let's go back to correlation coefficient. Again, we still have that indication that we've got some debris loft. Reflectivity, we don't see a hook or anything, and that's what's can be a little bit tough without Doppler radar data to really pinpoint where circulation is. But when you look at the wind, the Doppler radar velocity moment, you can see really bright yellows and reds here. That's wind going in that direction. You get into the bright greens, even a couple of pixels of blue. That's coming back toward Wilburton. If anything, this is not as broad as it was just a few minutes ago, but this is still a very powerful, significant tornado, likely ongoing now, moving into Wilburton. So this is heads up right now in Wilburton. You've got to be in your tornado safe place. If I'm not mistaken, the Wilburton Mesonet site is just to the southwest of town. So we are going to watch that closely because we may see some indication with the Wilburton Mesonet site of that tornado. Right now they've got northeast winds at 22 miles per hour. So not seeing it. What's that?
It hasn't taken new data in 10 minutes.
Okay, so 10 minutes of no data is not a great sign, but they will collect data even if they don't transmit it. So once things get hooked back up to power, we'll be able to tell. Now this rotation, again, strong just to the southwest of Wilburton. It's maybe a little bit weaker, and that is certainly such a great sign to see, but this is still very powerful. Given the level of tornado that this has likely produced over the last 30 minutes, even though we're watching the velocity slightly weaker, that does not mean to let your guard down. These things can continue producing a tornado even if the velocity is a little bit weaker, especially when we've produced a tornado so strong. It is 6:36 right now. You are watching Fox 23 in Tulsa, and we are watching a tornado moving very close to the community of Wilburton in Latimer County. Again, you've got to be in your tornado safe place in Wilburton right now. Other tornado warned storm in western parts of Sequoia County will go to velocity right now, approaching Highway 82. We've got some rotation here, and also along Highway 100, we've got two little areas of rotation. And to be honest, kind of one in southern parts of Cherokee County, but to me, it looks like the strongest rotation when we're getting into some of these blues and these brighter greens next to the brighter red. So I would put the most likely spot for seeing a tornado very close to Highway 100 and Highway 82 in parts of western Sequoia County, kind of right in here. That's going to move to the northeast. This is going to be passing north of Vian, north of Salisaw High School, north of the community of Salisaw too, and just to the south of Cookson, unless it takes much more of an angle to the northeast. I'll give you an updated track on that in just a bit. We'll go to correlation coefficient. And again, from this radar vantage point, we're pretty low in the storm. If we were to have a tornado down with it, we'd have pretty high confidence that it would be lofting debris up into the radar signal, and thankfully we're not seeing that. But we are still seeing some strong rotation taking place. I'm going to expand the view, and I'm going to give you an updated storm track on this as it moves to the east-northeast, and it's been moving pretty quickly too. So right in here, crossing Highway 82, and we'll take this also at about 55 miles per hour. If this holds together, it'll be moving across extreme southeastern Cherokee County, well southeast of Cookson and Tahlequah and Ten Killer Lake, and to the north of Salisaw and all the way over. This one's going to be a little closer to Stillwell than our prior circulation that moved up from Tahlequah and right across northern parts of Adair County. So that is the tornado warning and the towns to be affected. We've had a confirmed tornado with this storm just a few minutes ago. Last signal, we didn't see any kind of lofted debris, but we will continue to watch that really closely as it moves to the northeast. Also, our tornado warning continues in Latimer County. Let's zoom in to Wilburton because that circulation looks like it's still centered either right on top of or just east of Wilburton. Remember, these things may not be completely vertical circulation, so give yourself a little bit of a circle of uncertainty around this thing. So in the Wilburton area now, we'll look at correlation coefficient. And we still have some signal for lowering here. What makes me a little suspicious it might not be debris, and we certainly hope it's not, is it is kind of along a radial from the radar, which makes me think it's getting some interference from some hail or higher precip target. And that's kind of what we're seeing here with hail coming from the radar to the northeast into this. So there's a chance that that's not debris. The radar indication of circulation still strong, but it is just a little bit weaker. We've got some other thunderstorms that have developed west of Tulsa so far, not severe except the one moving into Pawnee and Osage County. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Grogan.
Yeah, to give you an overview, Tulsa is in between the storms. Metro area doing all right at the moment. There is that cell in western Osage County. I'll talk more about that in a moment. It is mainly a hail producer lifting north-northeast in the westernmost parts of the county near the community of Burbank. The storms that were once tornado warned weakening definitively across Delaware County. Still going to pack a punch. It's warned as severe, but the wind speeds have dropped off a touch. Still concerning for some gusty winds around Jay down to Concord, but that is no longer a tornado warned storm. Powerful winds are probably centered over Jay at this moment, heading along beyond Highway 59, the kind of north-south route through Delaware County, and will eventually be pushing into the Arkansas border. But back to the south, we still have circulations located near and far northern Sequoia County, and perhaps just a touch north as well. I'm going to move the radar site just a little bit to the north into Cherokee County, where we're noting that we're dealing with at least some element of maybe a little enhanced circulation there. This is going to be west of what would be Highway 100 in southern Cherokee County, pretty close to Lake Tenkiller there, and then also south of Cookson. We'll just go ahead and take a peek at the correlation coefficient and confirming that we still don't have any definitive area of lofted debris. That's a great sign. We do have a new tornado warning here. Okay, it's for the Wilburton storm here, since that doesn't want to show me. Okay, back to the south though. Yeah, and it's a broader extension of the tornado warning. One thing of note, it's angled a little bit northward. Sometimes these longer track tornadoes will occlude to the north, so there might be a bent northward with this, but this now includes Stigler, Keota, parts of western Lafleur County, all the way down into still the areas most affected in central and northern Latimer County. So let's get a little closer look right now near Wilburton. At this time, we have the most intense circulation, once again showing up a couple thousand feet where the beam is hitting from the radar, but located still very close to Highway 270. Wilburton, this appears to be moving past you, but you're still within the window. This still could be an issue. So please remain in your shelter. Powerful winds ongoing at Robbers Cave. Intense rainfall as well, making it very difficult to drive around this area. Do want to point out, a lot of folks like to go out and look for these kind of things. This is completely wrapped in rain. In fact, I'll show you. Reflectivity, it's embedded right in the middle of this. The amount of humidity that's at play combined with the rain and potential for hail, you're just not going to see this tornado until it is right on top of you. That's why we don't want you out looking for this. We want you in your shelter from Wilburton east and northward. And once again, this is all moving rather quickly to the east. I do want to point out this cell right here, the heaviest of which is crossing kind of along the Kaw County, Osage County line. I do want to go back to this cell, though, and give you a new track on it, though. We'll widen the view just a touch, just to give you an updated look at where this is headed. This is going to continue its way northeastward, likely still moving at a rapid clip. I'm going to just put this on a wide view here so you can get a sense of where it might be heading. This would put it near Norris by 702, Walls at 707, McCurtain by 709, and Dog Creek at 713. So these are some of the communities included as it makes an angle through northeastern sections of Latimer County beyond Wilburton. Still, anyone along Highway 270 and northward in particular needs to be in the shelter. But once again, we've also included some other communities even north of there. We could still see further development of a new circulation north of this, or perhaps even on the south side of this line, which right now is very active with lots of severe weather. And as we jump back to reflectivity, you'll see the leading edge of the heavy rain is already in Stigler, where you're likely hearing sirens. Outside Kenta, Wilburton, still in the midst of this heavy storm. Even if the circulation is just moving beyond you, it's still a definitive concern. And there is a broad severe thunderstorm warning just to basically capture the areas where we might get stronger winds and hail. And that goes clear up into east central Oklahoma. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Latest check of circulation, still powerful outbound winds showing up in Wilburton right now. Kind of getting this look here. There's the new circulation, and it's a bit more confined just on the north side of Highway 270 by a mile or two, now to the east of Wilburton. So it appears Wilburton likely in the clear for this cell. That is the good news. But if you're anywhere east of Robbers Cave or Wilburton, remain in your shelter. We do have another severe thunderstorm warning, and this is just an extension of the storm I mentioned earlier in Osage County. It takes it through the western half of Chautauqua County and even beyond the Fox23 viewing area from there. All right, so once again, we're going to check in on correlation coefficient, see if there is any drop-off in noted debris. It has been a very messy signal lately. It still is. We still see areas where it could be dropped, but as James mentioned, it's kind of along the same line here. That would be maybe indicate this is more of an issue with the radar beam being brought from the Fort Smith radar site and kind of angled away from there. So that doesn't give us as clear of an idea if we still have a tornado versus just a strong circulation. Overall, though, the storms are not an immediate threat to Tulsa. We're keeping an eye on the cell near Oilton, seeming to get a bit more organized. We do have a storm tracker that direction, keeping a close eye. If anything develops out of there, we'll be hearing from Joseph. But for now, at least the threat is not for Tulsa County. This is mostly for far eastern Oklahoma, and it continues to be a threat as we extend into the later evening hours for especially the areas in southeastern Oklahoma. This is likely kind of our higher end portion of the threat for the next hour or so. Then as this line clears out, there's still the potential for more development as we're seeing west of Tulsa, but so far that has yet to take hold. We'll send it back over to James for another update.
Yeah, we now have a tornado down with our rotation just to the southeast of Cookson. Let's look at that because we can see that pretty clearly as we look at correlation coefficient. Here's the look. You can actually see how things have started to wind up even more just southeast of Cookson. Let's go to velocities, and now we'll go to correlation coefficient. You can see that bullseye right here of dark blue in a kind of a greenish circle around it. That is located right where the velocity couplet is, which is right here. In fact, this is actually fooling the radar just a little bit by shifting over into red on the green and blue side of things, but just to the southeast of Cookson. Let me do a track on this too, because this is moving to the northeast. I'm going to zoom out so we can get a speed, because this is going to be very close to Stillwell before long. So that circulation right here. Take this up to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour toward Lyons, Cherry Tree, Zion through 703, Stillwell 705, Peavine, Piney at 713. This is very hilly and treed up terrain, so we're not going to get good visual of a tornado with it, but just know that we've got a tornado down with it too. We're also watching very close to Cookson or just to the northwest of Cookson. This circulation's gotten a little bit stronger, but for now we've got this tornado down. Let's go over to high resolution Doppler radar, and you can really see that pinpoint right in here, just to the southeast of Cookson and northeast of Evening Shade. We'll go to velocity, and again, that is a very strong indication that we've got really strong velocities. Not only do we have these outbound reds turning into yellows, but inbound greens shifting into some blues. So this is a very strong circulation with a tornado down now, lofting debris up into the radar signal. Again, we can look at the debris. It continues. This is very close to the Adair County line. That is here. This is deep in the woods, southeast of Lake Tenkiller and southeast of Cookson and to the east of Highway 82, where we can give you the all clear. This is going to be very close to Bunch, Stillwell Lake, Zion, and Stillwell as this gets up closer to Highway 59. But we definitely have a tornado down right now, right along the Cherokee and Adair County line. Again, we go to velocity, very bright reds and yellows next to very bright greens and blues. That gives us an idea of this circulation. Also just to the north of Cookson, right along Highway 82. Smaller, but we're picking up brighter reds next to brighter greens, and that too looks like it could produce another spin-up tornado close to Wildcat Point. And that's going to be moving up a little bit closer to Tailholt, but the strongest circulation is right here. Again, lofting debris, that's what this signal is here. So that is a serious tornado situation in southern Adair County, where the tornado warning remains in effect until 7 o'clock. That will be extended. We go into Haskell County and Latimer County, and now into LaFleur County too, with our tornado warned storm that has now moved east of Wilburton and along Highway 270. Let's go to velocities, And thankfully this is weaker, but we still have a couple of spots with rotation. One just south of Kinta along the Haskell-Latimer County line. We've got another one. This was the original circulation. If I'm processing all of these right, it is now east of Wilburton. Everybody west of Highway 2, we can give you the all clear from this storm. But two circulations here, Haskell and Latimer County. Let me zoom out so we can again fit the whole track of these circulations on here, because they're moving quickly and these storm tracks will jump off the screen pretty quickly. So first one, Northeast 55. This is going to be close to Leakwire, Lafayette, Panther, McCurtain, Iron Bridge, Keota, and Red Hill. This is also going to be really close to, maybe just to the south of Stigler. If you're in Stigler, you need to be watching this like a hawk. You are in the polygon, so out of an abundance of caution, you should probably take your tornado precautions. It looks like that circulation will be close to Stigler. The other one is, again, thankfully a little bit weaker. Let me zoom in again, looking northeast of Wilburton, likely right in here, right along Highway 270. We haven't heard any reports at all from Wilburton, but that was a strong circulation just southwest of town where the velocity weakened a little bit. New tornado warning, but you can see this track gets up into LaFleur County toward Bacoshy through about 719. Let's go over to that tornado warned storm right now. And again, the north circulation we just talked about, north of Cookson, getting a little stronger. The National Weather Service has now tornado warned that. We'll go to velocities and we'll examine this. And yeah, that's certainly stronger as it moves up toward the 10-killer community right in here. Look how bright we get the greens and blues here and the bright reds, even a couple of pixels here where we're getting into yellow. Let's take correlation coefficient. Again, we're in this spoke where it's not terribly reliable. I don't think that's debris. I know this is debris. That is a tornado down right now, moving across the county line from Cherokee County into Adair County. You can actually see the bump out in conventional radar. This is reflectivity, how high, how heavily the rain is falling. Red is heavy rain, but you can see this actually has a little bit of a bump out in it in Adair County. That is a very significant indication too in this sort of setup that we have a tornado down with it. We check velocity data. And again, with this strength of this, we're getting reds showing us wind this way, getting into the yellows. That's even stronger wind heading the same way. And the blues coming back toward the radar, again, really strong. So there's the new tornado warning clearing all of Cherokee County from the south circulation, but not the north circulation, which is very close to the 10-killer community. We'll set that up again and do an updated track with the circulation with the tornado occurring right now, moving up towards Stillwell. So Stillwell, here we go. Take your tornado precautions right now. Let me put that on the screen in case you need a reminder. We've said this a lot, but we were talking about other places first. Houses, apartments. If you have a safe room or basement, there's where you need to go. Otherwise, lowest level, center part, small room. If you're in a car, mobile home, get to some sturdy shelter. Office or store, follow the tornado plan and get to that safe place. This is going to be moving up towards Stillwell, and again, confirmed tornado down with it right now in the extreme southwestern parts of Delaware County as that, or Adair County, as that moves to the northeast. Here's the circulation just south of 10-killer. Again, we want to check it. There's a little bit of a dropout here starting to appear. We'll have to see if that is consistent with data. We look into southwestern Adair County. This dropout continues. That is debris being lofted up into the radar signal, so confirmed tornado here. And again, this is moving in the general direction of Stillwell as that slides to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. It is certainly not going to take long to get up there. Now, let's go to the latest severe thunderstorm warning. And this will be out in advance of that entire storm complex. This gets up into Delaware County too, but the spots that we're really looking at closely are further to the south in southwestern Adair and extreme southeastern parts of Cherokee County. We'll put on velocity because we can pick out where those rotations are much easier. I can put these on for you. Just south of 10-killer and just to the east of Cookson and southwest of Stillwell. But the problem is, especially with south circulation, we saw the correlation coefficient showing us the debris being lofted up into the radar signal. This is moving towards Stillwell just after 7 o'clock. The tornado warning continues in effect until 7:15. Moving past Stillwell, we're talking Westville in the tornado warning. The northern part, this circulation is moving to the northeast as well. That one will miss Stillwell as it moves to the northeast, but moving close to Rocky Mountain and Spade Mountain. Marietta, Sanders, Peavine, and West Peavine, the school there at West Peavine, Strawberry Spring, and toward Westville. Let's jump back to meteorologist Mike Grogan as we continue to watch these storms moving to the east, and we still have other thunderstorms west of Tulsa we're watching.
Yes, a number of storms out there, a number of warnings, and so just to kind of break it down for you, a cluster of severe storms in northwestern Osage County, another cell west of Tulsa, not severe, and then a line of severe storms extending from Grand Lake clear down to the southern extent of the Fox23 viewing area, and embedded within that are several confirmed tornadoes. Let's go right to the area in Adair County where we have two separate circulations. The leading edge of it's a little messy on the reflectivity, but as we jump over to velocity, it is clear that we have a signal for a tornado not far from the community of Tenkiller and also just angling southwest of there just a touch. I'll move this on so the banner won't cover it up. And yeah, right there, we have two distinct spots right there. So as we jump to correlation coefficient, this will identify our debris signature here. It is going to be south of Highway 82, still to the west of Highway 59, still on a general track towards Stillwell if it holds together. So please be moving to your shelter, most interior room of your house, lowest floor. That is where you need to be. Make sure you've got shoes on, a helmet if you've got it, and maybe a blanket, something to protect your head from flying debris, because we know that debris is in the air at this time. Less of a signal for that up on the circulation around Tenkiller, but we still may have a tornado out of it. Despite that, it's just kind of a bit messier of a signal, so a little tough to gauge. But back to the velocity. Still a pretty clear indication. This is moving just beyond Tenkiller. Soon we'll be crossing fully into Adair County. There, in fact, with the latest scan, shows it crossing the county line, and then the circulation a bit further down, southeast of it by about 15 miles. Not as strong, at least according to this velocity scan. We'll jump back to the correlation coefficient, see if that has changed. And you notice a little less of a signature there. So that indicates our tornado is likely weakening, still likely ongoing. Don't let your guard down around Stillwell or any place along Highway 59 in advance of this. This is still a very serious situation for our friends there. Let's take you down the road to our next severe storm with that possible tornado. I've noted some of that near and just south and east of Kenta, for example. Jumping back to the velocities here, we're going to just angle this up closer to where the circulation is now. And we still find a signature for that just to the west of LaQuire, along highway and just north of Highway 31. We're getting a signal for that as we're looking very close to the community here. Now, we'll jump over to correlation coefficient. I don't think we're going to find any sort of debris signature. We are not, but that does not mean we don't have this circulation with the possible tornado. We're still a little ways from the actual radar site. It doesn't always pick up debris, but this will continue its way northeastward, crossing likely just north of LaQuire along Highway 82, and will continue through the eastern section of Haskell County. I'll widen the view and draw a track for you so you get a sense of where this is in relation to other communities. This is still a healthy distance south of Stigler. Though you are in the warning at this time, we do have a weaker signal for the potential for maybe a circulation there south of Stigler, but right now it's a weak circulation. That is good news. That can always ramp back up. Widen the view though, and I'm going to draw from kind of the main area of concern. This is going to take it northeastward and eventually towards the communities of McCurtain by 7:08, Keota by 7:15, Cartersville by 7:18, and over towards the Pecoshi area by 7:21 in Callington. That puts us just into LaFleur County at that window of time. In the meantime, this could still reorganize. It's embedded within range, so there's no way to really check this out unless you're in it, and you don't want to be in it and outside. So make sure you're moving to your sheltered locations in Keota, down to maybe all the way up to Star, McCurtain, and then Bikoshi, and maybe the far southern extent of Sequoia County, just getting in on that track I've just drawn. Now to the northwest of Tulsa, a strong storm near Manford, and more of that signal up to the north and west of there, a strong storm. That heaviest core is actually even beyond Osage County in Kaw County, which is just beyond our viewing area, so that is not as big of a concern, but we're still watching for that potential for hail, maybe through Scheidler, 4 Acre, continuing into western Chautauqua County around Tulsa. Once again, all is quiet right now. There's that one cell near Manford. The tornado watch has been dialed back for the moment over much of eastern Oklahoma, but as we take a look at where we go from here, we might see additional storms developing with eastward extent through 9:30 and 10. The greatest focus will be in southeastern Oklahoma for the next hour, but if those storms can take hold to our west, they still may pose a threat later tonight, even moving into Tulsa, and even beyond there, midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, still might get a few more cells to pop up. So we're still far from done with the severe weather threat, even moving into the mid-evening hours. But I do want to take a look before we head back to James with a look outside. This is a look at that cell near Manford, a low-hanging cloud deck, a little what we call scud hanging beneath that. Nothing indicating any rotation at this time, but it does show there are storms still sitting to the west of Tulsa that might pose a threat for some communities, especially north and west of the metro area. James, we're still monitoring 2 confirmed tornadoes. We'll send it back to you, or at least 1.
Yeah, indeed. And the good news is we have lost any indication of, excuse me, debris being lofted in Adair County just in the last few minutes. But that's still not out of the woods yet in Adair County. So we'll continue to update you on that. I'm shooting out a couple of social media posts real quick, and let's see, there's that one and sent. So Facebook and X, you have been updated. Blue Sky, you have been updated. As we look into Adair County, strongest circulation looks like to me we're very close to Stillwell right now. With the tornado warning, it's still ongoing in Stillwell. Let's, as you said, looked outside in Tulsa, and things are actually much quieter for us. Here's what's happening in the Stillwell area as we look at high-resolution Doppler radar. Here's West Peavine, the school there. Looking up northwest of Stillwell, I do not see signs that we've got debris being lofted up into the radar signal, but we still have a strong circulation here, very close to Stillwell. So again, hope you're in your tornado safe place in Stillwell. You've got to be there soon. This is just a mile or two west of Stillwell and continuing to move toward the east, right along Highway 100. You can see we get into some of these brighter reds, even some oranges here, brighter greens and blues coming back this way. So if we had a tornado trying to form, it would be in this area right along Highway 1 and just to the west of Stillwell, moving up toward Marietta, Fairfield, and into western parts of Stillwell. And here we go again. We've got debris being indicated by radar. This is between Marietta and Stillwell, but it's so close to Stillwell. You've got to be in your tornado safe place. Marietta, Fairfield, Stillwell, Piney, all the way up into parts of Arkansas, Dutch Mills, up Arkansas 59. But that looks to me like we've got debris down, or debris being lofted up into the radar signal. There is the rotation. Go back to the correlation coefficient as we try to look for that lofted debris, and that's what we're seeing here. So it does look like we've got, excuse me, debris being lofted up into the radar signal very close to Stillwell. New tornado warning polygon has just popped up on the screen, an adjustment to the prior tornado warning that was in effect. And you can see we've got 2 separate tornado warning boxes. Let's go to velocity and check out the northern one. And we see a little bit of an uptick very close to this Highway 51 logo in the velocities on one side of this circulation. Another one, this is just up to the northwest of Stillwell right now, with the second one, for some reason, there we go, drawing it on just along Highway 51 and east of Highway 59. Let's do a track on these too. We're going to move these right down so I can get the whole track on with a motion. This is a 30-minute track, but these things are moving fast, 45 to 50 miles per hour. This is very close to Stillwell. Fairfield, Piney, Dutch Mills, that's in Arkansas. A lot of these are in Arkansas too, as this moves. Once you get north of Stillwell and east of Highway 59, this is a pretty sparsely populated, heavily wooded place. in northwestern Adair County. I wanted to do a track on the circulation that's a little bit further to the northeast right now. That's that second polygon that you see. That's going to be toward Peavine and West Peavine between now and 7:15. Westville, and then on into Arkansas, Summers, Cincinnati, and Lincoln. Let's go right back in here and again looking for signs that we've got lofted debris with it, and we still do now crossing Highway 59 just north of Highway 51. If you're heading into Stillwell on Highway 59, the interchange with State Highway 51 to go back west toward Tahlequah is north of town. The intersection to go east over toward Evansville and Dutch Mills is a little closer to Stillwell, but still just to the north. This is moving into Fairfield right now, so the Fairfield community got to be in your tornado safe place. Go back to velocity. And again, where we saw the lofted debris, that correlates really well with what's happening moving into just to the north of Stillwell. So we're likely got that debris being lofted just in the Fairfield area right now. Meteorologist Mike Grogan also watching these storms very closely, and it seems to me with that new tornado watch, the highest risk of a tornado is still lining up to the southeast of Tulsa, I should say.
Yeah, the atmosphere is a bit more stable behind this line. The atmosphere is a bit more stable this way in areas that have received heavy amounts of rain. That is limiting the potential for some storms west of Tulsa, noticing the cell just beyond Tulsa. It looks pretty impressive visually, and I'll show you that in a moment, but not severe, having trouble gaining much further intensity than it already is. But back to our circulation, back to the tornado that's ongoing just north of Stillwell. This is still a distinct concern along Highway 59. It's likely just crossing east of it now near the community of Fairfield. We'll go closer in though so you can just get a sense of a few of the communities still lined up to see this. And really between Peavine, Fairfield, and on over to Piney, this is where we have the greatest area of concern. Correlation coefficient here going to show probably right between Peavine and Fairfield is where we're getting the debris signature. However, this is still a bit of a distance from the radar beam, so it could be a mile or two displaced from what you see. So Fairfield, Peavine, tornado ongoing. This is going to continue its way towards Piney. Beyond that, we get to the Arkansas state line, where it will then cross outside the Fox23 viewing area. Further south, our next tornado warning still ongoing for a bit longer. This will be ongoing till 7:30 officially, but we just saw it drop off. Thankfully, the signal has really diminished on velocity, and we'll show you that right here. It's very messy, it's broad. Still, there are embedded areas where we have broad rotation, but not enough to really warrant a tornado warning being prompted or a new one being reissued, but just be aware it's a heavy and severe storm. That is certainly a great trend. It's certainly embedded within range, so it's hard to even get some of that higher instability air involved in the midst of that storm. So that's probably part of the reason it has dropped off significantly. We look to the northwest of Tulsa. There is a severe storm warning still for northwestern Osage County, though the hail core has actually gone just beyond the Fox23 viewing area to our northwest. So that is good news. Still some heavy storms near Pawhuska and back to the southeast from there. A storm kind of crossing by Lake Keystone and Westport right now is strong. And I'm going to jump ahead and show you what we're looking at from Tulsa, because it's a rather impressive cloud structure that we're seeing from near downtown looking to the north and west as we're dealing with some pretty robust upward intensity of the cloud deck going up from there, and you can kind of see a low hanging deck of clouds. It is a strong storm, but not a severe one, but one we're monitoring closely, and if it becomes severe, we'll continue to let you know. But of concern right now is Adair County, our single tornado warning that has confirmed, we have confirmed a tornado near the community of Fairfield. And as we'll send it back over to James, we'll take a look at where that's headed as it's getting much closer to the Arkansas state line. Piney is the community that needs to be sheltering next. Back to you, James.
Exactly, and as we look right now, that tornado warning continues in effect north of Stillwell. So again, everybody north of Stillwell, Highway 62, well, actually Highway 51, we can give the all clear to from this. Let's go back to velocity, and we've kind of got two spots we're looking at, both north of Highway 51, and both are northeast of Stillwell. Let's examine this really closely because this is getting close to the Arkansas state line. Once this gets into Arkansas, our tornado threat will be finished. We will go back to primetime programming, of course, be ready to go back on the instant another tornado warning is issued too. So we're going to watch this closely. We go to correlation coefficient. You have to watch this southeast of Peavine. It doesn't have quite the appearance. It's not symmetrical. It is in some of the heavy rain. It's fairly close to, in fact, right on where the strongest circulation is. So that was the debris area that we saw just a little bit ago. So yeah, that probably is still. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, it looks like it just went very close to, maybe through Fairfield, crossing Highway 59 in the Fairfield area. So kind of hard to see as I move this animation, but there's that one little dot right there on Highway 59. You can kind of follow it back up to the northeast. It looks like it's breaking up a little bit. Maybe it's unloading the debris just a little bit, very close to Peavine right now. So again, we're certainly hoping that this is the end of the tornado threat here. We'll go back to velocity. Again, the data is still pretty strong. This is just to the southeast of Peavine. If we were going to have a tornado with this circulation, we have before with this circulation. That's what moved just kind of to the northeast. That's the circulation now, close to Peavine, but east of Highway 59. So we can give everybody west of Highway 59 the all clear. This is not going to take long to move out of Adair County and into northwestern Arkansas and out of our coverage area. Let me go back to velocity. I'm going to do a track on this from that cell, moving to the northeast. We're going to take this about as far up as I can get it before running into the banner. Piney, Summer, Cincinnati, all of these except Piney are in northwestern Arkansas. We also, the weaker circulation a little bit further north, just about to cross Highway 59. That one certainly looks a lot weaker than it did. There's the circulation that we were just discussing. And again, that's still pretty strong. You don't want to let your guard down in extreme eastern Adair County. This is very close to Peavine. But if you project the path here, that's actually more to the northeast. So we've got 5 to 10 more minutes here as this moves across Adair County. It'll be crossing Piney Road here very soon. Let's take a look at correlation coefficient. Again, there's some evidence of a little dropout here, but nothing as sharp as what we saw before. This is also embedded in some pretty heavy rain too. So visual, and of course with the hills, this is heavily forested, heavily hill area in eastern Adair County, up Piney Road east of Highway 59 and all the way up towards Summers in Arkansas. So it's odds are you're not going to be able to see anything visually if you're out looking for a tornado. This is rough terrain to be trying to visually spot tornadoes. Again, velocity, circulation is kind of locked in right here. Let me put the icon on to make this a little bit simpler for you. Again, well to the northeast of Stillwell, moving to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. New tornado warning has been issued now, and it's still for this particular circulation. Weather Service extending this all the way up into Fayetteville and Highway 16, Lincoln area, and up Highway 62 into Fayetteville too. So the circulation is still on the Oklahoma side of the state line. As we check velocity again, it's still looking right in here. So in the corner of this new tornado warning box that goes up well into Arkansas. The original tornado warning box that we zoom into it, and it's not quite as strong. What did move from 10 Killer well to the north of Stillwell, that looks a little bit weaker. Could be case made for this little area being part of that rotation, but it also looks like it's kind of part of the original larger, stronger rotation that's getting up close to Piney too. So this whole part of the thunderstorm complex.
Confirmed via camera from Arkansas.
Oh, okay. So confirmed tornado in that storm. Looks like between Peavine and Lincoln in Arkansas. So Peavine, Lincoln, they've got a camera somewhere right in here. So that tornado is probably located here. We'll look at correlation coefficient. Again, there's another dropout that is happening, so we may be having debris being lofted up into the radar signal from, yet again, another tornado, this time very close to Piney. But yeah, got that radar data update, very strong greens and blues. That's an indication of the magnitude of the winds coming this direction, coming back south And then we've got some fairly bright reds on the other side of this, but this is right on the state line. So we'll be moving this out of our coverage area soon. Thankfully, this is the last tornado warning that we have to deal with. For now, we still have a tornado watch in effect, mainly southeastern Oklahoma. We'll take a look at that in just a bit, but we'll watch the circulation now north of Piney, moving across the state line into parts of Arkansas. We look into southeast Oklahoma. We did have the tornado warning in Latimer and Haskell County. That has been dropped to a severe thunderstorm warning as well. And on the wide view, no additional tornado warnings taking place except our Adair County storm. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Grogan and one more look at what you've got.
Yeah, one thing I'll point out, we still have a number of power outages due to previous storms since the afternoon first or second round came through. Tulsa area in particular, about 6,500 customers without power, almost 1,000 in Bartlesville. We've got a couple thousand in the Muskogee area and several others really seeing just different communities in the area without power. Altogether, well over 10,000 in Green Country without power at this time, in association mainly with the wind and the lightning. We still have some other storms that we're tracking. We're not fully done with the storm potential yet in Tulsa, though thankfully anywhere to the west of this leading edge line, much lower tornado threat for the rest of the evening. That is the good news, but we still have this lingering cell right here northwest of Stillwell. That circulation crossing the Arkansas state line as we speak north of Piney. That is where the tornado is confirmed right now, crossing into Arkansas. Further south, the leading edge of the line of powerful storms is now from about Kyoto to Bacoshi, and that puts us into LaFleur County, just beyond the Fox23 viewing area. Still heavy rain and storms extend beyond that. We're likely dealing with flooding on some low-lying roads. That means certain places will be impassable or very difficult to travel, so just be cautious if you must be on the roadways with these ongoing storms in southeast Oklahoma, as it's been raining for a long time in some of these same areas. To the northwest of Tulsa, we have dropped the warning now in Osage County. That is great news. So the warning now is just beyond our viewing area, except for far northern sections of Chautauqua County. I'll take us up there, and we'll note that this area certainly is much better into portions of Osage County, but Chautauqua County might get brushed by the hail core as we look a little further north that way. Really, though, it appears that the track of this is going to keep it west of the county line and west of the Fox23 viewing area. We have this one cell that we're watching closely moving out of Westport. It still is maintaining its strength, but it's not severe. A little lightning, perhaps some small hail on the north side of Lake, or Keystone Lake there. This will eventually be approaching Skytook north of Tulsa, and as we just take a look at that storm once more visually speaking, we'll find that it is still showing some signs of upward development with that look from the Arkansas River and looking to the northwest of downtown Tulsa. But nothing that's like incredibly potent. I think it's running into a bit more stable air there. We'll look from another vantage point, and you can see how this is kind of creating some cool striations in the cloud deck, but not a severe storm, just within the Fox23 Skyview network. We still have our tornado warning for a few more moments in Adair County, but that tornado threat is passing into Arkansas. We'll go back to one final check of the wide view of radar just so you get a sense of where the storms are. If you're watching us from the Tulsa area, we're not in any immediate threat of severe weather at this point. In fact, the tornado watch has been dropped off from the metro area and many counties surrounding Tulsa as well. This is the look at radar. Now here's a look at the ongoing tornado watch. Now this will extend beyond 7 p.m. for the counties highlighted in pink, but you'll note that it is now no longer inclusive of Tulsa, any of the surrounding counties, still in for southeastern and far eastern Oklahoma, but that threat will continue to drop off over the next hour or two, and as such we'll continue to return you to the programming, but we'll have a final check with what's going on from Chief Meteorologist James Adelot. He's still monitoring conditions along the leading edge and giving us a sense of any other remaining threat that is ongoing for parts of our viewing area. Back to you, James.
Yeah, and the good news is our rotation and debris has moved now across the state line out of Adair County. We'll watch this thunderstorm, but for now, it looks like Tulsa, the atmosphere over the metro area has been pretty worked over, so odds of anything too severe coming down just a little bit. As Mike said, no severe weather watch in effect for us. As we look into LaFleur County, we still have a fairly strong circulation that's developed now just to the southeast of Bacoshi, but that is continuing to look just a little bit disorganized. It's also in LaFleur County, which is out of our coverage area too. Quick check of correlation coefficient. And again, as we look just to the south of Bikoshi, it doesn't quite line up there real well, but we've got that shape again as we look at the reflectivity data. But for now, that is the main storm that we're watching. The tornado watch in effect basically along and east of US Highway 69, Bartlesville, Tulsa, Okmulgee, not included in this new tornado watch. So that's probably the best news of all. Now, I'm going to put on, as we look at radar right now, and again, the severe thunderstorms have bubbled up in northwestern Osage County. They have moved into parts of Cowley County and Kansas. We still have a couple of thunderstorms that are trying to go in parts of Osage County. We'll keep a close eye on those, also to the northwest of Tulsa. So far, things are quiet. This thunderstorm complex, you can see, has really been strong and severe, and that's helped stabilize the atmosphere quite a bit in eastern Oklahoma. We'll still watch. We still have the dry line west of us. Still could ignite another couple of isolated thunderstorms through the rest of the evening. We've got crews on the way to where we have confirmed damage and where we confirmed tornadoes on Doppler radar. We'll have full Fox 23 severe weather team coverage coming up at 9 o'clock. But for now, we will go back to programming. If a new tornado warning is issued for our coverage area, we will be right back on. Thanks for staying with us.
US Cellular has a new deal we don't want you to miss. It's just $15 a line when you get 4 lines.
Oh, I love that deal. Oh, come on. You have flowers?
Save big with our best price ever. Just $15 a line when you get 4 lines. US Cellular, built for us.
Where does